I'm just taking treated plywood and putting in the center so I can utilize the truck and keep all the road debris from flying up.
Just so we have something just in
Till we can get a bed built.
temporary.
Yeah, till we get a bed built, this will keep us.
Till we decide what we're doing.
Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today, and thank you to all our new subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Today we're going to talk about 3 simple steps to converting a semi-truck to an RV hauler. The first is going to be the hitch. We're going to talk a little bit about the types of hitches and how we mount them and the different options as far as where to place your hitch. Number 2, we're going to talk about adding fenders, and we're going to talk about adding some center protection across the frame of your truck. And then number 3, we're going to talk about wiring your truck. The semi-truck connection is different than what you need for your fifth wheel, so we're going to show you a solution for that that's pretty simple that you can do yourself. All right, step 1, the hitch and the hitch location. You can see here when we bought our truck, it was 100% set up for commercial. It was just a commercial tractor, and here you can see the commercial hitch location. Now, there are some different opinions that I found. Some guys say that they tow a regular fifth wheel with a commercial hitch and they have no issues. Others say don't do it. It doesn't have the ability to tilt side to side, so it could damage your fifth wheel. So I didn't want to take the risk, so I got rid of the commercial hitch. I had it removed from the truck. I actually recycled it. Now, depending on whether or not you're going to put a car or anything else on the bed of your HDT, if you're just going straight to tow a fifth wheel and you don't need any cargo space, you can mount your hitch either in the center or above the rear axle. And you can see here's a good example in this clip. Some friends of ours from Tipsy Marlin Travels. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, go check them out. But you can see here how he has their hitch mounted inside of the factory frame and above the rear axle, but he did not modify the factory truck frame at all. And it works really well for them. So that's an option. We chose, because we want to go ahead and put our smart car on the bed of our truck, we decided to do a frame extension and mount our hitch at the very end, giving us ample space between the cab and the front of the fifth wheel to haul our smart car. Now, we decided to go with a comfort ride hitch because we actually stumbled upon a really good deal on a used one, so we went ahead and picked it up. And we have 4 or 5 other HDT friends that use the comfort ride hitch. You can see it here. I really like it. It's actually got rubber isolators that you can add or remove to make the hitch handle more weight. This one is actually the 8,000 pound pin, 30,000 pound towing capacity version. It's the heaviest version they make. I know some other guys are using the ET hitch. Here's a picture of the ET hitch. So if you talk to Jack Meyer at RVH Lifestyles, this is his preferred hitch, the ET hitch. But like I said, we stumbled upon a good deal on the comfort ride, and because we have friends that have them and they're happy with them, we went ahead and went that route. Let's talk about number 2, center protection and fenders. I chose to put fenders on the truck because I wanted to keep the road debris off the front of the fifth wheel. And I also chose to put treated plywood between the frame rails on the truck for 2 reasons. 1, it gives me a platform to haul some things. And number 2, it protects the fifth wheel again from road debris coming up off of the road and hitting the front of the fifth wheel. Really, the only reason I did the fenders and the center plywood was to keep road debris off my fifth wheel. I'm just taking treated plywood and putting in the center so I can utilize the truck and keep all the road debris from flying up.
Just so we have something just in
till we can get a bed built.
Temporary.
Yeah, till we get a bed built, this will keep us.
Till we decide what we're doing.
One thing to keep in mind, if you are going to mount your hitch back aft of the rear axle like we have, you're going to need to have your frame extended about 30 inches or so. I think ours came in at about 30 inches, but you can see here we had the frame extended and we had it braced and sistered in the middle so that it would be strong, and that was solely to be able to add our hitch to the back to give us enough frame length for the bed for the smart car. I said in the beginning of this video that these are 3 simple steps. you see this and you may think, how simple is that? I don't have a welder. I'm not qualified to do that kind of work. Well, I said simple because you're most likely going to take this somewhere and have it done. And that's what we did. We were in Utah and we took it to Just4Fun Motorsports, and we talked to Charlie, and Charlie actually did the extension for us and mounted our hitch, and all I had to do was go pick it up, hook up the fifth wheel, and off I went. I did do the wiring for the 7-pin for the fifth wheel. We'll talk about that in the next segment, but Charlie did all the welding and all the structural work for us, and he did an excellent job. So I encourage you to go talk to Charlie at Just4Fun Motorsports in Layton, Utah. He's also done full frame extensions and built beds for Jeeps and smart cars and that sort of thing. So he's got a lot of knowledge and experience doing that. The other option, of course, is RVH Lifestyles. Jack Meyer and his crew do frame extensions. They add your hitch for you. They do custom beds. They have some amazing, beautiful beds. So, you know, that's another option too. Reach out to Jack at RVH Lifestyles and check out what they've got to offer. So these 3 steps really are pretty simple because you're most likely not going to do all the labor yourself. You can do the wiring yourself if you're inclined to do so. That's fairly simple. But as far as the frame extension, any structural work like that, I would recommend having that done. And that way you know it's done properly, you know it's strong, and you know that you're not going to have a failure out on the road. Step 3 is the wiring. Okay, let's talk about wiring. So this is your 7-pin that you're going to need for your fifth wheel. And as I mentioned before, the commercial connector on the truck is not compatible. It's not the same, and the wiring on the truck is slightly different. So let me show you a solution for that. This is the example of the commercial 7-pin plug, and it normally mounts up here on the back of the cab of the truck, and this is where you'd plug in your commercial trailer. But since we have to convert from commercial to RV, what I've done is I've taken this green wire, and you can see I've cut it off, and I fished it up inside this storage box and connected it to what's called a jackalope. And let me show you what a jackalope is. All right, so this is a jackalope, and basically it's a computer board, and you bring in your green wire from the commercial side, connect it to the board, and then you connect the RV wires, and this actually came with it. It's another 7-pin cord that goes from here all the way back to the end of the frame of the truck to that 7-pin connector I showed you a minute ago. So it's super simple to wire. It actually has labels for the trailer, labels for the commercial side, and you can see on this diagram of the board that it's fairly straightforward. And this is something you can wire yourself. Now that you've got your truck wire converted to feed the RV 7-pin, you need a brake controller, and that gets wired into this as well. I went with a Tucson brake controller, and it has a box that goes up under the dash that all this plugs into. You feed a couple wires back to the jackalope so that it can get a sense of when you press the brake pedal and that sort of thing. And then it also connects directly to the truck's ODB2 sensor, and it knows when you're braking the truck and different parameters it reads off the truck computer. Like I said, relatively simple to install yourself. I know most of the guys that are installing these HDT hitches, like Jack Meyer's shop, they can install all this for you, but this is another piece to the wiring that you're going to want to have so you can control the brakes on your trailer. Now I know there are also air brake options, and a few HDTers I know have air brakes on their trailers, so that's something you can add. I don't have any experience with that, so I'm not really going to talk to it, but there is an option to put air back to the end of your bed and feed your trailer with air. Now hopefully you can see how really simple it is to convert a semi-truck to an RV hauler. There's really just 3 steps: adding the hitch, doing the wiring, and then adding some protection with fenders and that sort of thing. I say simple because you're probably going to take this and have it done somewhere. So for you, it's going to be relatively easy. But like I said, if you're inclined to do so, you can do the wiring yourself, save some money, and it's fairly straightforward. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Now that our truck bed is complete, we're ready to show you our 3-part series on how we built our truck bed. So stay tuned for that coming soon. And I'll leave you today with some images of some other HDT trucks and some variances on truck beds and that sort of thing that you may find interesting. And until next time, safe travels. Bye.